guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we're going to be checking out the Masters of the Universe Origins Leech, Evil Master of Power Suction. This is one of the newest deluxe figures to hit the line, which is pretty exciting. I've actually been pretty excited since they announced this one because I really liked all the things that they were adding to this. Now, of course, Leech was not a deluxe figure in the original line, but he is deluxe this time because, as you can see, we've got alternate head, alternate hands, so that there's going to be a couple different ways we can make this guy look. Really exciting stuff. Now, there's a lot going on with the packaging here that's definitely worth mentioning. Of course, this is the deluxe card back here, so it does have some beautiful artwork of Leech up there in the corner, which mimics what the deluxe figures looked like in the original toy line. But we've also got that new little holographic sticker up on the left corner here, because it's the 40th anniversary of Masters of the Universe this year. So all the figures being released in 2022 looks like they're going to have this cool little emblem, which is pretty neat. You can see we've also got an extra little burst here that says figure really sticks to smooth surfaces. We're definitely going to test that to see how good it works. As we rotate around to the backside of the packaging, once again, we've got some amazing artwork up at the top that pays homage to some of that cool vintage artwork there, with Leech using his power suction on Tongue Lasher. As always, when I see artwork with characters like this, I hope that's sort of a hint at things to come, because I would love to see a new Tongue Lasher figure. Also, what is this weird little alien bat thing? It almost looks like the Horde emblem, like, come to life. It's kind of fun. Down below that, we've got a cross-sell though showing all of the other figures currently in this particular wave. This is a stellar wave, by the way, with Snout Spout and Mantenna and the 2000X versions of He-Man and Skeletor and Pighead and the Roton. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to track down the rest of the figures in this wave. And we even have the great little action feature call-out showing how his suction cups work on smooth surfaces like a window. So real fun stuff. I do like how it says only works with suction cup accessories. You got that little asterisk down there to let you know that. Really cool packaging, of course, but we are going to rip this guy open so we can get a closer look at the figure within. So each figure in this wave is going to come with the new mini comic Night of the Leech. You also get the little sheet here that shows you where you've got all of the removable parts on the figure for the part swapping feature. But great little comic here, features several of the characters, obviously characters that have already been released. We've also got Snout Spout in there. You can see all doing battle with Leech. One of the other things that's really great in here is, check it out, Slime Pit He-Man, or I guess as Mattel calls him now, Horde Zombie He-Man. Now, the actual slime pit isn't in here, but look, we even get a scene where Buzz-Off and Zodak are slime monsters, and good old hose nose himself, Snout Spout, has to come to the rescue by washing them off to fix them. Anyway, spoiler alert, I apologize. I'm just really excited about the fact that Slime Pit He-Man is in here, because I'm hoping that means we get an Origins figure of him at some point. All right, we've got our Leech figure outside of the packaging. If I bring in the tape measure, you can see that this guy's a bit bigger, standing over 6 inches tall. Now, he is a bit of a bulkier character, so he's technically still in that 5.5 inch scale that all the figures in this line are, but since he's got a bigger build, it makes him a bigger character, and that's actually really cool for scale purposes. I'm actually kind of happy that he is bigger, because the vintage toy was also a lot bigger and a lot chunkier. Now, he's got a new torso here, which you can see fully newly sculpted to match the vintage style of Leech there. One thing I'm going to say, though, is he is extremely lightweight. This is definitely a hollowed out torso. It's made of also like a harder plastic than what we typically see on the torsos. I believe the reason for the weight is so that the suction cup feature works on this guy. I think they must have made him lightweight so that the suction cups could actually hold and you can stick them to things. That's gotta be what the reason is. That's what my only thought is. He does feel really light. I was shocked when I opened him at how lightweight he felt, especially since the old one was so heavy in your hands. So he is very, very lightweight. The rest of the figure, I mean, feels exactly what you would expect from the other figures in this line. I mean, the limbs are all identical there. But you can see We've got suction cups for the feet, we've got the suction cup hands right out of the package, and then we've also got the head here, which is modeled after the vintage style with the big suction cup on the front where they just painted on the teeth on the front of his mouth. It's a very, very goofy look, but really is very reminiscent of what we got in the original line there. Now the torso almost looks like it's a different color green, unfortunately, than the rest, which I guess, this part right here is technically his armor, but the rest of this is supposed to be the same color as his skin. So it is a bit off there. It's kind of a lot like the old one, because the vintage one, while there were some variants that had the two-tone paint deco, a lot of them were just solid color, just like this. So it looks a little cheap, unfortunately, but it's also kind of in line with what we got with Leech originally in the vintage lineup. Otherwise, I do think he looks quite nice. Now, the articulation is what you would expect. Obviously, the head is bigger and bulkier, so it kind of rolls around there, but it might get in the way of the torso just a little bit. But you still got your standard articulation at the arms, with the elbows that swivel and bend. You can even swivel the suction cups at the wrists there. The waist still turns at the torso. The legs can still go outwards, forwards, backwards. You got bends at the knees. You got swivels at the knees, swivel at the boot cut, and swivel at the ankle part of the suction cups. So he still articulates like all the other figures in the line, and he does still feature interchangeability, so you can actually put this suction cup head on any of the regular bodies if you want to. You can swap out the arms there. The torso does even pull apart, though it is a bit bigger than the others, and you can still pull the boots off as well. So still retains all of that functionality. All right, so we're going to test this suction cup action, and one thing I've really noticed already is that the suction cups on his feet work incredibly well. Now, you might have noticed that there's little tabs, like pull tabs, on the suction cups on his feet and his hands here. That's to help peel those off. So I got a nice piece of acrylic right here, and we'll just start with the feet. Look at this. How great is that? I mean, look, I'm actually lifting up the acrylic there. That works incredibly well. In fact, that works much better than the vintage Leech's suction cups would have worked for feet and hands. So I'm going to go ahead and lift up this piece of acrylic here because I want to test, obviously, his hands, but also his mouth. You can see we got the same pull tab there. So let's go ahead and just do the mouth first. Kind of stick him on there. Look at that! That's incredible. It works really, really well. So we're going to go ahead and just stick his hands on there too. This is actually impressive. I mean, they really did improve upon the suction cups. Check that out. Really improved upon the suction cups on Leech here. The vintage one, if you guys remember, had a push button on his back where you would actually push in, and that's how it would create the suction in the mouth up there. This time around, they just went with a straight up suction cup, and I was wondering if that was even going to work, but honestly, this is working incredibly well. Might even be working better than that of the vintage figure. I mean, man, he is like really, really stuck on there. You really do actually have to use these little pull tabs so you can get some air in there. That is awesome. So, well done, Mattel. Great action feature on this guy. So going back to the swappable parts, we do have those extra pieces that I showed you in the package. So first of all, let's go ahead and remove that very gimmicky suction cup head, and we're going to replace it with the other head. Now this one is very similar to what we saw in the Masters of the Universe Classics line. It's actually a proper head for Leech. It's what the vintage one is trying to convey, but it's got a suction cup on there for the gimmick. So with the suction cup removed, we now have this nice big open mouth. You can kind of see how it's still got like a suction type look, especially in the inside of the throat down there. But you got those big old honking teeth on there, which looks really, really cool. So it does change up the look of the character quite a bit, and I'm really glad that this look is included. Now, you could just put those with his hands with the suction cups. You can see how he's got the fingers kind of molded on the back, which is really cool. But we also have the option to remove those, and we can bring in some standard hands without the suction cups. And this is brand new for Leech. We have never had this on an action figure for Leech before, where we had no suction cups on the hands. They are very weird, gangly looking hands, but you can see you do have the hinge joints there and the swivels. So that is really nice, because between all of that, we've got several different options for mixing and matching. In fact, this is one of those things where I can see a lot of people wanting two of these to display both versions, because I think an argument can be made for having both versions on display. If you want it to look like vintage, or if you want something that kind of pulls away from that vintage look and gives you a much more accurate Leech look, I think it's awesome that we've got both of the options with this guy. And in addition to that, we do get a bright red Horde crossbow, just like we've seen with the Horde Troopers and Hordak. It works just like the vintage, where it just kind of goes bink, and that's it. Just kind of triggers forward a little bit. But that also can just clip over his wrist, just like so. Again, just kind of fits right in line with the vintage Leech action figure. All right, guys. It's comparison time. So let's go ahead and stand them alongside that vintage Leech action figure there. This is actually my favorite version of vintage Leech. It's the black belt version with that two-tone paint deco. But I do think it does a good job of showing you the difference between the two and how similar they are with the suction cup features. And we'll go ahead and put them alongside the Masters of the Universe Classics version, which did update the head, so you can see what those two look like side by side. So there you go, my friends. That is a look at the brand new Masters of the Universe Origins Leech. I really like this figure. This is definitely one of the cooler deluxe figures in this line so far. I think this was a perfect candidate for a deluxe figure, because not only is he bigger and bulkier, but I love that they included the very gimmicky suction cup head, even if it is goofy looking. And I'm really impressed that even though they eliminated the push button of the vintage, that the suction cups on this arguably work better than the vintage ever did. I think that is really cool. I love the new parts, I love the new hands, and I love that we're building out the evil Horde in Origins. So hey, these guys are starting to slowly sneak out right now. These have been popping in and out of stock at online stores. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Carlos, who pointed me in the direction of picking this one up. Since these are starting to pop in and out online, you can probably expect to start finding these at places like Target any time now. So happy hunting, my friends, and until next time.